червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another live stream here for Support Ukraine Live. If I have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet, my name is Sean, and as you saw in the video, that was a video that was produced by two different people. So it was first a folk song, a Ukrainian folk song that was sung by the lead singer of the band Boombox, who was currently touring or was touring the United States and left to go back to Ukraine to go and fight in the war to defend Ukraine against Russia and the Russian invasion. And so that song was just something special that we found and that we wanted to share with everyone to show a little bit of how just the human condition is being creative to support Ukrainians in this war. And so thank you. I see Ronald is saying hello from Malaysia. I know that behind the scenes, Fab, who's running the tech, is in Australia. It's 1 a.m. his time. So thank you. A special thank you to Fab for running this behind the scenes. We've got people literally from all over the world. So if you would, if you're watching this live, I would be honored if you would drop in the chat, drop in the comments either on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and just let us know where you're watching from. And just in a couple minutes, I've got a couple of guests that we're going to chat with. And those guests are going to tell you a little bit more about ways that you can support Ukraine. And we get to possibly hear about what life is actually like right now. So again, thank you for being here. I see we've got Marine from Bali. We had Malaysia here. And Daria, thank you so much for being here. I know that we want to go straight to chatting with you. And a little bit about Daria. I've got a couple of notes here. So Daria, for work, and And I know that I just read a LinkedIn post that you posted a week ago that you're not able to currently get a ton of work done because of obviously the war and what's happening, but your growth marketing and content marketing at Pop-Up for your work. And I do know that you have a curfew coming soon. And so we wanted to chat with you, and we're just very
Yeah.
thankful for you to be here with us. Number one, would you like to tell everyone a little bit more about who you are and where you are?
Yeah, so actually, thanks for this opportunity. And yeah, so I'm a marketer, and previously I was working for Lemlist for almost 2 years, and now starting from January and joined Pop-Up, and as a product marketer. So in terms of work, of course, it's not only because there is no work or I can't work, because anyways, hopefully we will have connection. Luckily, we still have it, and we are still working, etc. But we also started running some initiative to help people here in Ukraine. And so yeah, we just divided, all these things, and prioritized a bit. So right now we just do something else just to help people here with the help of some things that we can order and deliver only from abroad. And yeah, so in short, something like this.
Got it. And what city are you in?
Actually, I live in Kiev, but on the first day when everything started, I just managed to go outside of the city, and right now I'm near Kiev with my relatives, and in their house, so it's relatively safe place, at least for now. So all good if it can be called like this.
Got it. Well, again, thank you for being here with us and for taking a few moments just to share with us.
Thank you.
Number one, number two. So my great grandfather escaped Ukraine in 1910 when it was still under the Soviet Union and went to Canada. So I'm like fourth generation underneath them Ukrainian, and so like when this all started, like I just can't imagine what you and what your family and what your friends have been going through. And so I'm sorry for what you're having to go through. I can't really
Mm.
I'm trying to empathize as best as I can and put myself in your shoes. And so I think that's one of the things
It's
that I
just
would like
hard, yeah.
is what did work life, because we're streaming this to LinkedIn, there's going to be a group of professionals watching this that are maybe they're taking time out of their morning or their afternoon, their evening to watch this on LinkedIn, which is really a
Hmm.
business platform. So what did everyday work life look like for you 2 weeks ago before this started?
I think it should be called right now not like work life balance, but more like work life, because it actually influenced a lot. And right now it's more like, some groundhog day, because every day is almost the same. For us, it's just like it's already like 14th day, but to be honest, it feels like, I don't know, maybe 3 months is already, or maybe just one day. Actually, nobody knows like what day of the week it is. So we just, we are still counting days, like 14 days, but it will be done. And in terms of like work life, another reality right now. So every day we start like by checking news, and we are checking news like all day long, and we are working during checking news. Like it's not normal, but we can't do anything else, because every minute, I don't know, every hour something happens, and for us we just need to keep track of of everything that is happening right now here. So we are just trying, to check news, to do something, to work. I don't know. For me, it's also some things related to Wi-Fi, etc. Because I have my relatives here where I live right now, but I also have my brother. He lives like not far from my house, and he has Wi-Fi. For example, I don't here, so it just, we just need to be flexible right now. And luckily I have an opportunity to have almost everything here, but it's for me. But for other people, it's not so easy, and it's harder to find something. Some of my friends who actually work in similar sphere like marketing, etc., they left Kiev. They are like on the western part of Ukraine, and it's more safe there. But they have other problems, So just like it's all about flexibility right now to be able to understand what you can do, like and what you want to do. And if previously I knew that I has some, some graphic, some I mean like some timeline and work, for example, from 9 to 6, for example, help you try to do your work, you try to, I don't know, check what happened during this day, and yeah, something like this right now. So it's about flexibility and your ability to do something and your willingness to do something. So
That's
no schedule right now. You just do, like, and you just work and check news. Sorry, can you hear me? Because something happened with my connection, probably.
got it. And living and working in Kyiv. Did it cut out for a second? Am I back now? Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
all good now.
when you were living and working in Kyiv 2 weeks ago, before all of this started, when were you working from home? Did you have a
Yeah,
pretty normal work schedule? Would you go to bistros or cafes to work? Tell us a little bit more about what it was like before the invasion.
so like since my company right now, we are all remote. We are all over the world, so we are working remotely. I was working like mostly from my home, and so again, it was like schedule was flexible anyway, but I knew that still I have, some time in the morning, in the evening to do some normal things like to go to the cafe. I don't know. I have two dogs, so walk my dogs. I have something that I was doing before, and right now I'm not doing this, so everything is closed. And even today, for example, um, so actually I'm running out of dog food for my dogs, and I need to find it, but everything is closed. So today one shop was able to open in Kiev, but to get there I need approximately 2-3 hours instead of 1 hour like before. So and they can open only for 1 hour, and you need to call them, check if they will be open or not, and then maybe go, maybe not. So today like I spent almost, I don't know, few hours just to go there. But when we left our home to go there, we understood they will be not opening, so we returned. So it's just super strange right now, and like for us again, new reality, but flexibility again. You just understand like you need to do this, or and that's it. So we just
Yeah,
don't have everything that we had before. I'm here sitting like almost every like all day long at home, and when I was living in Kiev, like it was just completely different life.
got it. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And because of the flexibility that you have to live with, I'm curious. Like we see and hear things online that I don't know how accurate they are, depending upon what you're looking, what you're reading, what you're watching. What's kind of the feeling that you and your family have about this whole thing? Like, do you feel like it could go on for a while? Do you feel like it could be over in a couple of weeks? Do you have any feelings that happen that sense, or what are you hearing? As well as what are you hoping for?
We all want to hope that it will end very soon. But when everything started again, first day I was thinking that it's just like some nightmare that I will wake up, and it will be just a nightmare. But it's like 14 days already, and we don't understand how it actually can be over, like what should happen. And every day is the same, so nothing is changing. And so every day we just think differently. One day we read or we check news, and for us it seems that it's going like better. Then next day they're bombing some city in Ukraine, like really bombing, and then we are like, what the fuck, like it should stop someday. But then it's like again and again, and we don't know because nobody was expecting that it will actually happen. So we were living after our like Maidan in Ukraine for almost like 8 years, and Putin was just, for us it was just like frightening from his side. And even like evening before like this day when it started, I was with my friend. She came to me, and we were like having dinner, like thinking what should we do in case something happens. But in the end we were like super skeptic, because like we were like what can happen actually in the 21st century. But then 5 a.m. my mom called, and like he decided, like he started bombing us. To be honest, like I said, like what do you mean? Because I was shocked. It's like 5 a.m. And then I started hearing this myself, because I live near the airport in Kiev. So nobody knows, like we are just hoping.
Yeah.
But if it will like last for some long time, I don't know. I don't know how we will live, because okay, 14 days, but it's just like okay, 2 weeks. But if it will be longer, then honestly I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I know that
Yeah.
I know that from watching the news, like I know, like watching the news and waking up. I mean, to be honest, in the states, it feels somewhat similar, but obviously nowhere near what you're experiencing as far as the same. Where it seems like there's more conflict, there's more ceasefires, but sometimes the ceasefires aren't agreed upon.
Yeah.
So it does seem to repeat itself. I'm curious, is there anything that, because you've said a couple of times now that it feels like the same day over and over again, um, being afar from, like, you and I, this is the first time we've met, so maybe it's not necessarily something that I could do, but something that if I have a friend who's in Ukraine and they're experiencing something that you're going through where it feels like the same day over and over again, is there anything that we can do? Is it FaceTiming or doing something like a Zoom or something to make it feel a little bit different, that you have had, like you have a friend that did this for you, it just felt good? Is there something like that that we could do internationally from afar to help out with that feeling?
So I think right now the main thing that actually everyone can do here in Ukraine is just do something. I mean, like not to sit and do nothing, because then you can just go crazy. So anything that can be done with someone else, like any help, like even this live. And I also gave some interviews. I was on a podcast, one podcast already. So it just this is something that we can do as well with your help. And for us, it just makes a difference, because it's just some additional awareness that we can raise, so people abroad understand what's happening here, and they're not forgetting about us. Because if it if it lasts for 10 days, for 15 days, I don't know, like okay, everyone is talking about this. But I'm just a bit scared that if it will be longer, then for everyone it will be okay, but it's not okay. So people not start they should continue talking about this, and like sharing the information about the situation here. And yeah, so I think this can help as well.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. We don't want it to become the new normal for
Yeah, yeah.
you. We don't want it to
Because
become the new normal where it's
it's
just
not
we just
normal.
ignore it.
I don't want to yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, Daria, I know that I've heard from Fab that you and I think Mateo are working together on a project which we have scrolling across the bottom of
Yep.
commerceforgood.org. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So this actually is our initiative that we started, like I think on the very first day. Right now we are helping. So the problem here right now. So lots of people donated some money to Ukraine, some charity organizations, anything. But the problem is everything that we were able to buy here, it's out of stock in Ukraine. So even if you want to buy something, I mean, like for volunteers, for civilians, it's just some aid, like that can be delivered. But for example, if it's medicine, it's one thing. But also some volunteers, they need vests, they need helmets, people need radios, and all other things. So right now we are like raising funds for this. And since we're e-commerce, like company, we are able to handle everything with logistics, like to find suppliers, etc. So for us, this is an initiative that we started, and right now we already ordered 400 radios. We are like talking about like to be able to deliver vests and for our volunteers. So yep, so doing our best. So if anyone wants and can donate to help us to do this, it will be just amazing.
I think we lost the audio just for a second at the very end for like the last few words that you had, but I'm on the website right now, and it looks like you guys have a Telegram channel where what are kind of some of the things that
Yep.
you're
Yep. So
sharing on the
actually, everyone
Telegram
can join.
channel in order to drive more awareness and to
We
talk
just
about, because 400 radios, like that is not cheap. That's awesome. Like that's great that you were able to do
Yep.
that.
Yeah, because actually, like Ukraine is big, and every city,
city,
every
every region
region right now, people need
people.
some. Sorry, I hear myself.
Oops, sorry about
All good.
that.
Echo. Is
Can
it
you
good?
hear yourself still?
Okay.
Okay.
No, all good. So yeah, so Ukraine is big, and almost every city and region like suffering from some things, like in terms of like they can buy something, and so 400 traders seems like a big number, but it's nothing, to be honest.
Yes, I can
And we are
imagine
just like
because
one of many initiatives that people started running just to help each other here. So in terms of Telegram, we created a Telegram channel just for people who want to check what we do. We are posting everything there.
that's great.
We also have one volunteer here in Kiev. She's helping like elder people with food, like buying and delivering some food for them and medicine. So yeah.
That's great. So the Telegram, if someone's watching this live stream and you're unfamiliar with what Telegram is a lot like a WhatsApp or a group me.
Viber, for example.
Yep. So it's an app that you can get on your phone, and you can join a channel where people are either having conversations or just giving updates. And so it's basically a group messaging channel. So there's a if you go to the link that we have there for you, it'll take you to a link tree, which is there's a video there where you can see Mateo, who's the co-founder of Pop Up. He's there, which I haven't watched the last time I checked the link, there was a different video that was there. So you have to forgive me. I haven't seen this new video. But we do have that's there. There's a button that says how to donate. And then there's another button that's there for the Telegram channel. And then there's other buttons as far as companies involved. Well,
Yeah.
Daria,
So
go ahead.
yeah, sorry, just like when we started everything here, so right now we are also trying to register a charity organization, like official one. So that's why we are changing some small things on this link. But yeah, while it's not registered, we are doing just our best to receive money like directly, some small, donations. But anyway, it helps us a lot.
Understood. So, and that makes sense that as things change on the ground where you are, things are going to change on the website because your needs might change and there might be more updates that need to be made. So,
Yep.
we heard you say, I mean, I heard you say a couple of times like flexibility is the key, and hear me say
And
like,
here as well.
yeah, so we will stay flexible with you guys, and we're just here to support. And so thank you for doing what you're doing. I want to let you go
Thank
so that you
you.
can get some rest. I know that rest is important in these times. So before I do, is there any other questions? Are there any other questions or anything that you would like to talk about that I didn't ask any questions about?
I think like overall I shared all the info. So actually a lot of things are going on every day here, even though it looks like the same day. But yeah, so I think as for now that's it. And hopefully this live will help us raise awareness and also maybe find some additional donations to help people here who need something.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Daria. Fab, you want to jump
Thanks.
on the conversation?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for jumping on the call. I know it wasn't easy, and we appreciate your time and the effort. and I'm just
Thank
very
you.
pleased to finally meet you on video chat anyway. Ever
Almost
since
in
you popped
person,
up,
yeah.
yeah, almost in person. Ever since you popped up on my LinkedIn feed, I've been following you intently, and Matteo as well, because definitely you guys have, I think, the profiles that are the most active, or at least viewed on LinkedIn. So great work there. I think it helps everyone to stay abreast of what's happening in Ukraine. It's one thing to watch the news; it's another
Yep.
to see professionals like yourself going through the same thing, and I think that resonates a lot. So thanks so much, Daria.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Be safe, Daria. Thank you for joining us. Well, if you're watching this and you're just joining us, again, you can show support for the organization and for the work that Daria and her group are doing. You can go to commerceforgood.org, and that's scrolling across the bottom. And as you heard Daria say, there's a couple of other ways that you can support. You can support by sharing information. Don't let this become normal for you. Don't let it become normal for your friends, because war is not, it should not be normal. And this invasion of Russia into Ukraine and going to war with a country that was at a peaceful neighbor, it's incredibly important that we stand up for this and that we stand with Ukrainians like Daria, who we just mentioned. You can also donate. Like as I said, you can donate at Commerce for Good. You can generate awareness and see what things that they're sharing about in the Telegram. So be sure to I encourage you to join it there. You can follow Daria and Matteo, who's now on screen with me, on LinkedIn. I know that I hadn't met you both before now, and so I followed both of you, and I've read a couple of your most recent LinkedIn posts. So Matteo, thank you for being here with me. I'm going to introduce you here in just a second. And then, of course, be sure to share. So if you're watching this live, share this video. We do have a replay, as well as we have a brand new YouTube channel. So last week's live stream that we did is on that YouTube channel. And our goal is to put more videos and to turn them into shorter clips so that you can share it on social media, share it with your friends, send it through a text message, send it through a Telegram channel. And so sharing information is important, so that we generate more awareness, to generate more support, so that we can help Ukraine and Ukrainians that are there on the ground, just like Daria. And the last way that I shared last week that we can all support is I read this morning that the latest numbers are that 2 million refugees have now fled the war in Ukraine and have fled to other countries. A lot of them are going to Poland and then going elsewhere. I did hear a report earlier that Canada is opening up with special circumstances for any Ukrainians who would like to escape and go to Canada for an extended period of time. So if you're in one of these countries where refugees are coming, or one of these areas, we'd encourage you just to welcome them. That's something that we heard also, is just to welcome them. So I'm going to repeat all of this at the end because it's important for us all just to hear it multiple times, ways that we can support. But I'm here joined on screen with someone who is definitely going above and beyond and helping support also. So this is Matteo. Am I saying it correctly? Is it Matteo?
Yeah. You said it correctly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Matteo is here as the co-founder of PopUp. PopUp is the only no-code e-commerce platform that enables merchants to visually build and control customer journeys while managing multiple pop-up stores from one admin in various languages and currencies. And in his LinkedIn bio, it says here that what makes him truly happy is when he can help people. And if you read more about it, you can find out ways that he's doing that, including what we're about to chat about right now, which is, of course, Commerce for Good and the efforts just to help people like Daria. And I was actually reading another LinkedIn post. Let me see if I can find my mouse. Where did it go? I was reading another LinkedIn post that you just posted. It was a young woman with a couple of other things. So Matteo, number one, is there anything that I didn't share for your intro that you would like for people to know about yourself?
No. It's yeah. That's, I think, you said all the important bits. I think.
Got it. And Matteo, I think I read also that you're originally from Italy, correct?
Yeah, I'm originally from Italy. I'm in Ireland at the moment. I left Ukraine a week before they started the war because I live. Kiev is like a second home to me. My wife is Ukrainian as well. So kind of fell in love with Ukraine since 2016, and I've been spending time both in Ireland and Ukraine. My daughter is still here, so that's why I come back. And like Daria was saying, is like we came back because we kind of wanted to come back. We always come back. It wasn't like, oh, let's come back because there might be an attack. Myself and Daria were having, dinner together like a week before all of this happened. So, and this is why I think for me, Ukraine, I think is personal as well, in a way. I was house hunting like while I was in Kyiv because we were planning to move permanently in July.
Got it. And so you said your wife is from Ukraine. Does she still
Yeah.
have family over in Ukraine currently?
Yeah, she's actually from Kharkiv, which is the city that's been bombed the most. So brother, mom, and father as well. But since 2016, by spending most time in Ukraine, all my friends are over there. So most of my good friends are still there. People that work for us as well, they're there. Both with Vicera Group, which is the e-commerce company that we founded, and then with Pop-Up, we worked with Ukrainians just because, with my ties over Ukraine, and there is very good workforce. Or our content team is over there. We also launched like Pop-Up TV, which is a show that, we interview entrepreneurs around the world. And my first show was in Kyiv. We're going to release it next week, and I interview Shusha, which is a designer from Crimea that escaped Crimea during the annexation of Russia, and then she moved to Kyiv. And I was there. The show was filmed on the 12th of February, so a couple of weeks before they start bombing. And we were discussing this. We were discussing, the war, the revolutions, but it was a very, normal discussion. And she had a 35 people business, and now she doesn't have anything anymore. So this is very, very real for me as well.
And my heart is just breaking for her too, because to escape one conflict and one attack by Russia, to go to Kyiv where she thought she would be safe, and then now this is happening. That's just heart-wrenching for me. So I'm sorry for what she's going through, and for what your wife and you and your daughter are going through with having family there, and for what your family is going through. That cannot be easy.
I want to say something positive though, because we see a lot of things that are happening around the ground which are bad. I do believe that Ukraine will never be the same again, and is in a positive way after this war is finished. In terms of investment within the country, VCs or real estate markets, every person that I spoke to in the investment community over there, or real estate developer, they always told me the same thing. It's like we do lose 70 to 80% of our business because of this war that has been going on with Russia since the last 8 years, because this conflict has been going on for a while. It was just confined to a border. And also many people didn't even know where Ukraine was. Ukrainian brands, especially like fashion brands, e-commerce brands, are incredible. But no one kind of values made in Ukraine as much as made in US or made in Italy. This has changed. This is going to be changed forever. So Ukraine now is in the war map of a country that is strong, a country that people respect, and Ukrainians as well are going to be like that. Which means that even for Shusha, the designer, she lost her business, but she told me I always wanted to expand internationally, and now I'm pretty sure that once her brand is gonna be up and running again, made in Ukraine is gonna have a much value, and she's gonna be in the warm up for a brand to go to, or for people to buy from. So I think, in a way, yes, there's destruction, there is death, there is war, but the future is much brighter. And I think that this war was inevitable. We didn't know when, but we knew that something was going to happen, because the conflict on the east was never stopping. It's like, if I use a metaphor, it's like if you have a pain in your back that you don't want to go to a doctor to cure, and you kind of walk, you can do something, but you can't run, you can't do sports, right? So you can do two things. You keep on doing what you're doing and not running and moving forward, or you have to cure it and you have to move forward. Now, Russia made the decision for Ukraine. I don't think Ukraine was never going to attack Russia. It was always defending themselves. What I'm trying to say is that the future is much brighter. and we're going to see a brighter future when this is finished, because we know that Russia will never be able to take over the country.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
thank you, number one, for sharing that with us. That's
Yeah.
incredibly encouraging, I'm sure, to hear. If you are Ukrainian and you haven't heard that yet, if you are tracking everything just like I have been and watching this, because I hadn't thought of it that way, to be perfectly honest. And I have been focusing more on the negative side and not necessarily on the, hey, what's happening afterwards. So that's really encouraging to hear. I'm glad that other people like yourself have that mentality. Here in the United States, we do have a saying that the night is always darkest before the dawn, right? And then when the dawn appears, there's this sense of refreshing. The sun brings warmth and light. And so there is this period of, hey, like it gets cold, it gets dark. And so I'm glad that there is the flip side and the positive side, because I could see how that would definitely be like, I mean, I shared earlier in the stream that my family is originally from Ukraine. I didn't fully understand what the size of Ukraine and how many people were around Ukrainian cities were until this happened. And I heard someone describing that, hey, it's the size of this, and there's 4 million people in this city around Kyiv, and 2 million here, and 1 million here. And I didn't realize the sheer size of everything. And I agree with you. I think that now the world has changed, and the world has changed right now. Like this conflict and this war, like this is a bad thing. Like I don't want to sugarcoat that, but I agree with you. I think that there is hope for a better future for Ukraine afterwards. And because you said that, I'm now more hopeful. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, Russian was holding Ukraine back always, not fully, but a little bit, right? It was always like pulling back. And the investors that I spoke to, they were like, we do lose business because people don't want to invest because of this small conflict that there is in Russia. It's like you cannot progress at the full potential. So I do see now when this problem is fixed forever. And this is why I think there cannot be a middle way with Russia. They cannot take, Crimea. They cannot take the Lugansk and Donetsk region. This time is all or nothing. They need to get back what wasn't theirs to take with and leave Ukraine to move forward. And look what happened with the acceleration in the EU. In the EU was something that it might have taken 5 to 6, 7 years, and now suddenly there is already the application move forward to Ukraine to join the EU. So I think it's like it's in the middle of all of this. It's we need to think about a brighter future, and this is what Zelensky is trying to do, because it's easy to get demoralized, especially if you're on the ground and you see destruction, you see your house gone. And if you listen to what he's saying to people, it's like, don't worry, we rebuild it. We already allocated the money. We'll find a way. Your house is going to be knocked down. We'll build a new one. But we're going to always move forward. And I think it's important because if we don't break, they're trying to break the spirits of the country. And if the people stay strong, then they're invincible.
Yeah, I personally have been impressed with Zelensky and his leadership through all of this. And not just that, but like, I mean, to be where he is, and I think it was your LinkedIn post that I was reading through about his resume and things that he's done. Like, he won Ukrainian Dancing with the Stars, like a fun fact about him, if you didn't know that about him. I didn't know that before. I read it a few minutes before we started the stream on your post. And so to see like an unorthodox background leading him to where he is now, but then I also believe that when we face conflict, like what he's going through and strife, like that reveals who a person truly is. And I've been impressed with who he's shown himself to be through the positivity, through the leadership, and through the pushing, right? Like he's pushing truly for what he feels is the best for his country and for Ukrainians everywhere. And so to see that is really encouraging. So hopefully, like he gets more support. I was reading more about Poland and the United States trying to figure out how to get more jets to Ukraine and different things like that this morning. So hopefully more support just continues to pour in. Tell us more about. I want to pivot a little bit. Tell us more. I know that we heard from Daria about commerce for good, and I know that you were probably behind the scenes on the stream, and you're probably incredibly proud of Daria sharing everything that she did. Is there anything that she missed? Anything that you can add on to that we can take away from this for ways that we can support with what you guys are doing?
Yeah, no, like she basically, she said it all. I think it was for us, it happened by chance. Honestly, it happened by chance. It happened from a lot of friends on the ground, Daria herself saying, hey, I've been hearing this, people need that, people need radios, people need bulletproof vests. And there is a thing where we give money to Red Cross. So obviously we give money to large organizations and things like this, but there is a lot of localized needs that people need that gets missed out. And we've been in a similar situation during COVID, right? If you want to look, an analogy is when COVID hits and the situation there was with PPE. It's exactly the same thing. We knew that people needed personal protective equipment, but what happened was that the governments were taking their time to secure these large contracts to get into the different countries, and everyone was trying to scramble. So you started to have this small organization that were kind of to work much faster without having all the bureaucracy that they needed to basically fill in, to kind of have this targeted action that creates, as Daria was saying, it's a small action, 400 radio, 500 radio, 1,000 bulletproof vests. It's a big country. But if I do it and some others do it, and the collective do a small action, we can have a big impact together. So I think it's what happened with COVID. The PPE is very similar to what's happening right now. Things are moving very fast. And we realized that we have a big network from our previous company, which is Viceroy Group, that Katia is running. And that company is an e-commerce portfolio of 7 different brands. And we have over 200 suppliers from Vietnam, from Turkey, from China. We have 3 people that just scout products all the time for us. So for us, instead of, hey, look for a sleep mask, was, can you look for a radio? Can you look for bulletproof vest? Can you look for military gear? So we started to using our structure that we have already from, suppliers, visiting the factory, getting the samples in, shipping it to a fulfillment center getting it through, working with DHL, working with UPS. It's the same thing. It's just products changes, but commerce and supply chain is the same thing that we've been doing for a long time. And what pop-up is because we have a big network of, investors from, the biggest VCs in Europe to VCs in US. And pop-up really came in as a support in spreading awareness and trying to rally up the investor community and our PR for this project. While Viceroy Group, which is our old company, is really running the operation. And on top of that, the 7 brands that we have right now, we completely turn them into a charitable organization, which means that until the work is finished and until it's needed, all the profits from all our brands, they're going to us. Another thing that we're doing is we are launching a print-on-demand store, working with 10 Ukrainian artists, from tattoo artists, creators, and things like that, small and big. Some of them have like 100,000 followers. And they're doing prints for us. We're launching a print-on-demand store where you're going to be able to buy T-shirts, and all the profits go to then Commerce for Goods to buy these needed goods. And most of these artists are, now in the territorial defense, volunteers. They obviously can't work anymore. And every time you buy a print, you're going to be able to actually see the artist, their story, what they're doing, and things like that. And we're going to be able to launch it, I think, in the next 2 or 3 days.
Well, I love what you guys have done, taking your e-commerce and pivoting to supply like real needs, because you already had some systems and structure in place. And I know that I've heard a couple different people talking about how the difference between, like, number one is with this full scale invasion of Russia into the Ukraine, like it's pretty much the first time that this has happened, and since Hitler did it with Germany invading nearby countries, right? And so with that comparison, I remember growing up, I would watch, because both of my grandfathers fought in World War II and served in the military. And so I grew up watching documentaries about how factories in countries around the world would be making shoes, for example, and then all of a sudden pivot to, well, they were already making shoes, so let's make boots for our soldiers. Or we were a steel manufacturing plant, and then they transitioned from making cars maybe to tanks or something like that. And so taking the infrastructure that they had and pivoting to making supplies, and what you're doing is taking the infrastructure that you had of delivering supplies from people that can make them into this, which I just see this parallelism right there, but it's a modern day version of it, because
Yes.
back in World War II, like, we didn't have e-commerce like this, right? So I think it's incredibly important that what you're doing for, like you said, you're raising awareness, number one. Number two, you are supplying a very real need. And number three, you're allowing people from all over the world to help with that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's actually true. I mean, just to give you an example, the goods that we are shipping from China and Vietnam at the moment, they're going to a company in Romania that does doors, that now had a factory in Ukraine and they had a depot in Romania, and they still have the vans. So now they're completely pivot to actually do the distribution last mile from Romania directly into city of Kiev. And the bulletproof vest that we've been working with, that we actually now just buying the plates, because a factory in Lviv that used to make jackets now is making the vests. So all they need is the plates. It's actually the collaboration from our side, but actually on the ground, we've seen the pivots as well on making and delivering the products.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. And I know that from afar, I'm a fan of yours and of Daria's and of your whole team for doing what you're doing. And so again, if you're watching the stream, commerceforgood.org is the link. If you type that into the browser or you click it here on the LinkedIn stream, we'll see if we can put it in the YouTube stream as well. But you can click on that link and it'll take you straight to the website that we've screen shared a couple of times. Matteo, thank you for being with us.
No
Same question to you that I asked to Daria. Is there anything that I missed? Any questions I should have asked that I didn't, or any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
No, I think a final thought is let's keep on talking about this. We are gonna be here for a while. I'm not sure when this war is gonna finish, but I know Ukraine was gonna need a lot of help even after, from the rebuilding and stuff like that. So my fear is that this is going to just be a blowout for the beginning, and everyone is going to talk about it for a while, and then slowly the things is going to, move away. So I think by keeping consistent it's important, and everyone that knows, marketing, and everyone knows that from LinkedIn, building an audience, it's all about consistency, and it's all about not big pushes, but consistent small pushes in the right direction. And I think that needs to be brought into this type of scenario as well.
That's good. That's a good word.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you. That's one of the things that me and Fab and the other people involved in the Support Ukraine Live, this series really that we're starting to do is, I mean, to be honest, like my emotions before we did the very first one was, hey, let me just get to this first one, because it was a lot of work last week to put it all together on a lot of different people. And my emotion right before we went into it was, if I can get to this point where it's done, then I'm done. Then the work is done, right? But then no, like as I was reflecting on it, the work isn't done, because the war isn't over and Ukraine isn't rebuilt yet. And I think that that's important also, that this needs to continue. This effort, the support that we show, isn't done until Ukraine is rebuilt. It's not just when Russia leaves. It's not just when the war and the conflict ends. It's really when Ukraine is rebuilt. So that's incredibly important also. Fab, hey, thank you for introducing me to Matteo and to Daria. I know that Fab is the one who reached out to you guys. So Fab, anything to add?
Hey, Matteo, I made this one for you right here.
Oh,
this is the, I got my graphic guy to take the Foreign Legion symbol and made the Cyber Legion Defensive Ukraine.
Yeah, I know. It is a work that is fought on social media and with our keyboard, and a lot of people actually, I want to go and take weapons and stuff, and they realize actually I can be more effective from my keyboard by spreading awareness and raising funds and doing so much. And for us, for both myself and Daria, selfishly, it's our only play as well, because if you don't do this, it's like your mind goes crazy. I met a girl the other day. She works in a shop and she's Ukrainian, and she's like, I cannot work. I cannot do anything because I have to be at the forefront of a cafe and just talk about normal things, and I can't. And for us, is in a way, it's like we can keep on doing what we're doing with our organization, and at the same time as well focusing on this. In a way, it's keeping us sane as well. I think it's selfishly, it's also doing that. It's making us constant. Daria was saying that as well. It's like it's so important. Just be sure that you don't just focus on reading the news, but actually doing something.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's an important point through all of this. I know in the last 10, 20 years, mental health has been a really big push for a lot of people. I mean, back in the 50s and 60s, it was like, stop smoking. And then it evolved into, okay, well, now change your diet. And then now it's get exercise. And then recently it's been more like, how can we be more healthy mentally? And so, like you're saying, not just sitting around thinking the world is ending or waiting for the world to end. It's no, like, what can I do just in small moments, in small increments? And that's for people that are in Ukraine. And that's for people like us that are not in Ukraine that want to help out also.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, you made a really good point, Matej, and it's something that doesn't really get covered a lot, but this is the first major war that's going to be fought in the public mind globally on social media, and that's something we can do. I mean, I'm in the opposite. I'm on the wrong hemisphere in the totally wrong time zone. So, and in fact, our government has forbidden any Australians to go fight in Ukraine. It hasn't stopped the soldiers that have gone, but you don't need to. Like, you can help online. You can help by spreading awareness. Every new person that sees this, every new person that takes up the cause, is more pressure on politicians, more pressure on businesses, and hopefully that can help.
Yeah, and if you speak with people on the ground, it sounds like small, but they all say, when I wake up in the morning and I see my phone and I have 20 messages of people saying, keep on going, stay strong, from all over the world, people that don't know me, that gives me so much strength. And when I send a message, you obviously just see your message. You don't see everyone else's message, but the person that received them see the collective effort. So I think it's important to understand that your action is not, it counts, because it's all our collective action. If everyone thinks my action doesn't count, then we wouldn't be here. It doesn't matter if you have 1,000 followers, 100 or 100,000. It doesn't really matter. This is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really matter if your post on LinkedIn is seen by 4 people or 5 people. It's important. 5 people it's a lot of people if a lot of us do that at the same time.
Agreed. Yeah, the last stream that we did, Ruslana, she's Ukrainian descent also. Her parents and her grandparents left Ukraine around the time of the First or Second World War. And she shared this Ukrainian saying with us, and she said it in Ukrainian. I'm not going to attempt to do that because I would butcher it. But she said that it translates basically to, thread by thread, you make a shirt for a person who doesn't have one. And so she said that just what you're saying, every $1, every little contribution counts, and every small comment or direct message or text message or Telegram message, every small thing that encourages someone, every share, every like, every retweet of accurate information is incredibly important also. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it can be even like people are asking, how can I help? I don't want to give money to charity. Honestly, it can just be, if you see someone on LinkedIn that is from Ukraine, reach out and say, hey, do you need help? Do you need help? What do you need? It can be just like, hey, yeah, I might need $50 because, there is an old woman that I want to buy some groceries for. And this is actually what happened with Commerce for Good. It was like, our friends were asking, hey, how do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help? And suddenly we have people who's like, actually, I do, because I'm using my own money to buy food for these old people or for disabled. And I'm using my own car to do this volunteering. So I was like, okay, let's support volunteers on the ground. And suddenly we had 10, 50 people that we were financing daily to do these kind of small actions. And this is usually how it happened. It didn't happen just from us asking, what do you need? How can I be helpful? As simple as that. It might be just one action, but if you can able to help one person and each one of us does that, I mean, we actually are going to be able to help a lot of people. So it's not big action, it's small things.
That's good. That's really good. Well, I think the appropriate final question, and I know that we've probably talked about it already and answered it, but how can we help you?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, if you guys donate to Commerce for Good, is great, and we want to be transparent. I think it's like we noticed that a lot of charities, you don't know where your money is from, and this is why I created the Telegram channel where we have daily updates. You can see our volunteers delivering food to the people. We're going to have our volunteers to do live streams whenever they receive the package. It's all about, the money that you give us, you're going to see the impact that you have. Fully transparency in, purchasing invoices and where the stuff is, where it's coming from. And we live in a world where technology allows us to do that, to be fully transparent. So why don't use it?
Good. Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for the work you're doing, because also that transparency, that's got to be a lot of work in of itself too, because you have to, it's a lot like posting on social media, which anybody who knows about it, that is not easy work. It might be quote unquote easy because you have to type it in and hit a button, but it still takes a lot of effort and time to do that. So
yes,
I think that's awesome that you guys are doing that. Fab, anything else?
No, I just wanted to thank you, Matteo, to coming on here and telling your story.
Yeah.
And likewise, you inspire us. And every time I see the posts on LinkedIn and the news out of the Ukraine, it's sure. Like Sean said, it's a terrible situation, but it's inspiring a lot of people around the world. And I think that's a good thing. It certainly has inspired me.
Yeah, I want to do a big shout out to an Australian that is helping a lot and is promoting us a lot. Is Alex, the CEO of Linktree, which is an Australian company, proud Australian company. And he has been put. It's just he was one of the first to put the banner on Linktree now to the banner for donating. So everyone that has a Linktree account now is going to be able to actually donate. And has been very, very, very supportive by spreading the word and things like that. I contacted him on WhatsApp and he jumped on it straight away. And big shout out to my Aussie friend, Alex.
That's great.
I'm going to look him up for sure.
Yeah. You know Linktree, but it's a famous company. They're big.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you again for giving us your time, for donating your time for this. Also, I see that people have been appreciating it in the chat. And so if you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, please be sure to encourage Daria and Matteo here. Please be sure to follow them on LinkedIn so that you can see more updates as they post them. Also go to commerceforgood.org. There you can find a button to donate. You can find a button to watch a video to learn more about it. You can join the Telegram to see the transparency that Matteo was talking about. But Matteo, thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yep. See ya. Be safe, and I hope that your family is safe also. So that's one of the ways that you can support is by going to commerceforgood.org. As we mentioned, another way that you can support, we have not put this link up here yet, but one of the event professionals that's behind the scenes has been helping put a lot of this together, put together a website, which is supportukraine.world. So it's now on the screen, scrolling underneath, and right underneath, I think it's, is it this arm right here? Okay. Oh, now I'm moved, so I can't point to it anymore. That's okay. So yes, right underneath Marine right here. So go to supportukraine.world. There you'll find a map where you can simply add your name and your location to a map where we would love to have 10,000 people. It's a big goal. I think we're just over 200, but we would love to have 10,000 people to show that they are supporting Ukraine from literally all over the world. And there you'll also, if you scroll underneath that map, you'll find two more buttons, two other organizations if you would like to donate there as well. One is the Red Cross, an international organization, and the other is Help Us Help. And Help Us Help was Ruslana, who was on the previous, she's the one of the founders of it, or the founder of it. And then you can share this video. You can share other videos. You can share TikTok videos like what we saw. Share accurate information, retweet organizations like the Kyiv Independent, who are sharing constant updates, or President Zelensky from Ukraine, or the official Ukraine Twitter. You can retweet there. You can share other articles with your friends through direct messages, text messages, Telegram messages. Make sure to share and do a little bit of a look into it. Make sure it's accurate information from a trusted source. And then again, just to reiterate, if there are refugees coming to an area near you, or if you're welcoming, if they're coming near you, just be welcoming and help them assimilate, help them get adjusted to their new life there with you. I'm joined on screen by a gentleman who's originally from the Netherlands. He's another event professional that has volunteered his time to make this happen today. So I just learned how to pronounce his name earlier today because you and I haven't been on a live stream or on a video chat before. But Marine, right? Marine.
Right. But
Marine. Marine.
all good.
I had it
All
and then
good.
I lost it and now I've got it again. So Marine. So thank you, Marine, for being here with us. And Marine is currently in Bali. He has moved around and he might have a 3-week-old kitten on his lap that makes a meowing sound while we're on the stream.
Exactly. It is actually sleeping right now. I'm not sure if you can see him.
Yes.
It's the newest supporter from Support Ukraine Live. He's actually as old as the Wires, which is very sad, but he's there with all of you. Yeah, big shout out to you, Sean, for making a great host. Also for Fab, obviously, the rest of the team. It has been an amazing experience, and wow, Matteo, really inspiring to see your point of view. It's insane, and indeed, every small or extra awareness that we can raise together. That's why I'm also here. I've been mainly just helping to get some ideas up and going. Would have loved to even do more, but we are restricted to where we are at. And as Matteo also said, instead of grabbing a gun, it is also very powerful to put the word out there, support the initiatives that are going. I know there are quite some other events as well, raising awareness, and I'm very proud to be here, part of the team.
Well, we're very thankful that you are a part of the team. And if there's any event professionals that are watching this, feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn, send us a direct message. We have a Discord, which is another like group messaging where we're using to organize these from week to week or every other week. And we just launched a YouTube channel where we have, in order to make it more public, because I know for example, my mom is not able for security reasons because of internet security to use LinkedIn. And so she wanted to watch it. So we made it more public by creating a YouTube channel, which we're streaming there right now. And so if there's any event professionals that would like to help, or if there's anybody that you know that if you're watching this, that would be a great person that we could bring on here to let them share what they're doing to support. If you would like to share what you're doing to support, or if you know anyone that is on the ground that we can talk to in Ukraine or doing something else, we would love to generate more awareness just by asking them a few questions, letting them share a little bit more about their story. But for you personally, what does it look like? Like, why did you decide to join in and to show support for Ukraine?
For me, I used to be a person that was very much on the sideline. Obviously, there have been quite a lot of crazy conflict going on in the world. And obviously, it also hit a lot closer home. Netherlands is not that far from Ukraine if you look at it from a world perspective. But yeah, I really felt that it's no longer, you can no longer do it by just standing on the sideline. And it was holding me back that, you cannot really make an impact by yourself. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Like, yeah, just by yourself, you cannot really make an impact. But every little bit helps, just like we were talking on the thread by thread, making a shirt for someone who doesn't have one. And that realization really made me to, when I saw the post, the scream for action, like, we cannot do this by ourselves, we need all the event professionals out there. I was like, the least I can do is at least join and see where I can help, see where I can do whatever is needed at this point within the ability that I have. Because it is something that shouldn't be here anymore in the 21st century, like 2022. You would think that these things are something from the past, but it's still happening. And if we don't stand up with everyone, it will keep happening. So it's time to put an end to this. And if this is the first step in there, then I'm happy to take that. And I'm especially super grateful for you guys to organize this and take that first step and give us the possibility to pitch in as event organizers or anybody else, actually. No matter what your background is, just being part of a team that tries to make the world a better place. Yeah, what else would you want in life?
100%. I mean, just like Matteo was saying, like a share on social media isn't
I think I lost you there for a second, Sean.
encouraging. Okay, I'm back now. But seeing encouraging comments from other people, like Mia Masson, who's in Cape Town, South Africa, who a lot of times, like I met, she was in France, and she seems to be a world traveler. She's just all over. So, but seeing other people's comments and from people that I don't personally know is encouraging also. So, like you said, a simple like is encouraging to us. But again, we're not doing it for the likes; we're doing it for the awareness. But it is encouraging because it is a lot of work behind the scenes. But like you said, many hands make light work, and so having people like you, having people like Sean and Ronald and Fab, and other people that are in the Discord that have either been encouraging or dropping ideas, really just small things like that really can help make this go a little bit further. And so, thank you for joining in with this. Why, why, or what? Let me ask this question this way. Um, why did you make the decision? Because some people might be thinking, well, I could, but I don't know if I have the amount of time that I need. Why did you decide to step up and just say, hey, what can I do to help?
Well, like it couldn't be a worse time because I'm currently trying to develop a platform, so I'm very busy. I have a lot of calls and everything going on. So yeah, every now and then I'm just up till the whole night. But yeah, that shouldn't be something that holds you back. Even if you know, like maybe you get one night less sleep, so be it. You're helping the world, even though it seems like a small thing. Don't tell that to yourself. Know that it all accumulates to something bigger. And yeah, if you keep telling yourself that, oh, why should I do it? I don't have the time. Like, it's not true. You can always make time. Even if it's only half an hour. That's all. That's already a super huge help. If 6 billion people give a half an hour, you have quite a lot of time dedicated to a bigger goal. So in that sense, it doesn't have to be that big. For me, like I dedicate not hours and hours in a day, but the hours that I do have, the moment I find myself where I normally would go scroll endlessly on YouTube, finding videos that don't really help me further in life, I now go to the Discord group and see if I missed anything and if there's anything I can give my input on. So it's all about, do you really not have the time? I think everyone has a little bit of time. You can always prioritize it because, as I mentioned, if we don't prioritize it now, then one day you will find that war comes to your own country and then you wish you would have prioritized it right now.
Yeah, I mean, even as simple as coming to the Discord group, and if you find a TikTok that has interesting information about what's happening, sharing that in the group, sharing a link to a YouTube video, sharing an idea, or even just hitting reshare. And like, I think I spent probably it took 5 minutes this morning, and I was able to hit the invite button to this LinkedIn event. And you have to scroll. It's kind of tedious. I kind of hate how you have to do it, but in 5 minutes, I was able to hit invite to 348 people that I filtered as like if people in the events industry that I was connected to on LinkedIn. And so even something as simple like that would be a huge help. So number one, thank you for joining in. Thank you for sharing those thoughts with us. Same question. Is there anything you'd like to talk about here? Anything that I missed that we should have talked about before we close up this stream?
Yeah, just make sure that you show, like, that's the least you can do. It literally only costs you 1 minute. Go to supportukraine.world. Just let us know that you are there. Wherever you come from, you can fill in your location. And it helps to show Ukraine that there's support out there from all over the world. It helps us to stay motivated to keep doing this week in, week out. Yeah, and as Fab is now currently showing, we also introduce some T-shirts with some of the logos we have made so far that really show your support for Ukraine. It's a small thing, and all the money raised with this goes directly to charity. There's nothing that goes to profit for us or to support us. We are all doing this completely without getting anything in return, just raising awareness and helping people in Ukraine. So if you would like to really have something tangible from your support rather than just knowing that you have supported, make sure to also buy yourself a nice T-shirt with one of the amazing designs that have currently been designed.
Yeah, 100%. And shout out to Fab for putting this together. He and his team have worked on the graphics, worked on the site, got it up and running. And so our goal is to get a link to this site at supportukraine.world. Fab, if you're there, what's the link to this so that can we share this in the LinkedIn?
Yeah, we'll drop it in LinkedIn. The link's also on the actual event. So if you look at the description of the event, there's a link there.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, let me pull that up real quick. So let's see. So it's a long one, so bear with me. It's support-Ukraine. Yep. Marin just put it in the chat there. Support-Ukraine-live.creator-spring.com. It's there on the screen.
We will have a shorter one very soon.
Yeah, we'll get a different one. But hey, thank you, Fab. Thank you, Marin, for helping us put all this on. Thank you again to Ronald and to Sean and to everyone else who helped support this. Thank you to everyone for watching either live or on the replay. Please be sure to go to either one of the links that we have dropped in the comments. We've got supportukraine.world. We've got all of the other ones that we've shared today. Thank you again to Mateo. Thank you again to Daria. Thank you again to everyone who is taking action. A simple action is a share, a like, a comment. Thank you to everyone who's sharing it with a friend. We will have this available on the YouTube for replay if you would like to send it to someone. We are here. Feel free to reach out to any one of us on Discord or on LinkedIn to get a link to the Discord if you would like to join in and just simply drop an idea, or if you would like to help connect us with someone that can be on the show in the future. So anything else you got?
Yeah, just out of interest, like this is an interesting design here. I don't know if you've seen this St. Javelin, the protector of Ukraine. The guy who created this, I think he's in Canada. He's raised $1 million off selling stickers. So this has become the unofficial symbol of Ukrainian resistance. So it's the saint, and she's holding a Stinger missile, US-made Stinger missile. So he just recently posted that they had contributed $1 million just from sticker sales of this particular logo. So and it's funny because when you read his account of it, he thought he might sell a few hundred to friends and family and network, and now he's sold, as of now, $1 million worth of funding sent to Ukraine. So you never know what impact you're going to have.
Love it. I love it. A small, simple idea, trying to sell stickers and it ends up raising $1 million. And that's super cool. So thank you for putting that together, Fab. Thank you and the team for behind the scenes doing that for us. All right. With that, there's the support Ukraine, the little kitten that's there. What's the name of the kitten?
Well, at first she was called Lola, but then it turned out to be a he, and now he's called Leo.
Leo, got it. I love it. Well, thank you for having Leo with us. Thank you again for everyone for watching. Thank you again for taking one small action to support, because again, thread by thread, you make a shirt for a person who doesn't have one, which is the traditional Ukrainian saying. So be blessed. If you are Ukrainian and you're watching, we are thankful for you watching this, number one. And I spoke last time directly by looking in the camera. But to anyone who is Ukrainian or in Ukraine, I'm praying that you are safe. I'm praying that this conflict ends. I'm praying that you're encouraged, and I'm praying that you feel supported. And if you don't, please reach out, because that's the whole reason why this is named Support Ukraine Live, is we are here to show that we support Ukraine and its people that are fighting in this war to simply have a free country. So thank you. Bye, everyone.
I draw my life. Disegno la mia vita e la mia storia di un giorno quando piccola e indifesa mamma e papà mi portarono qui. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje życia quando il mondo è violento, un futuro non ha. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje życia quando il sogno si spegne, la paura ti prenderà. I bambini non giocavano, ma fuggivano con le mamme e i papà. La malvagità, nel cielo non brillava mai il sole, le strade erano vuote nel silenzio, ogni città, ogni giorno così. I draw my life, maiuiu moje życia quando il mondo è violento, un futuro non ha. C'era chi pregava per la pace, ma poi piangeva come noi, lasciando la sua casa e la sua vita per poi non tornare più. Non c'è pace, non c'è amore, quando il colpo di un cannone rompe il silenzio, scuote la notte ed il mondo chiude gli occhi. La vita è tutta dentro una valigia, i soldi in una tasca ma non piena, con noi partì. La speranza è così. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje życia quando il mondo è violento, un futuro non ha. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje życia quando il sogno si spegne, la paura ti prende. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje życia quando il mondo è violento, un futuro non ha. Disegno la mia vita e la mia storia e dopo un lungo viaggio nella notte tutto cambiò. Ora io sono qui. I bambini non giocavano, ma fuggivano da una guerra, chi lo sa se mai finirà. I draw my life. Maiuiu moje